Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Strange Minds 6. I'm your host, Ruby, and today we're going to be getting back into part 2 The Secret Life of My Friend Dahmer, a graphic novel by Derf Backderf. But before we begin, I'd like to put the trigger warnings out there again. And this is an adult graphic novel. So if you are a child under the age of 13, please choose another one of my videos. And I am stating a trigger warning. Other than that, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not already. Grab a snack, grab a drink, or sit back and relax. And let's get to it, shall we? Part 2. A Secret Life. Going to the lake. Dahmer and his friend. Here it is, not much of a lake. Hope you didn't expect more. I didn't even know you had a lake back here, Neil. Yeah, it's man-made. My dad put it in when he bought the place. There are actually fish in there? Sunfish. Just catch 'em and toss 'em back in. As they started to fish. Hey, did you hear about Cindy Slakta? Yeah. Suicide. Guess, she blew her head off. Half off with her dad's gun. I wonder who found the body. Don't know. So weird. I didn't really know her well, but she didn't act suicidal. She was cute. Nice bod. But to off yourself? I don't get that. I mean, at our age? How bad can life be? A fish tugs at the fishing line. Hey, cool, you got one. Reel him in. They start to laugh at the small little fish. Dahmer pulls out his pocket knife and jams it into the fish, splitting it in half. Cutting it up more into little diced up pieces. What the hell? I said throw him back. What did you do that for? As Dahmer looks at his knife. I just wanted to see what it looked like. September 1976, junior year. Class of 77 rules. We picked up where we left off the previous spring and sprinkled our patter with, as we called them, Dahmerisms. But Dahmer himself was different. Greetings. Bah, bah. Dang, alarmingly so. That smell, is that... Yeah, man. Big time, no question. Dahmer knew full well that his sexual urges were sick and twisted. But there was no one he could turn to for help. It was his nightmare alone. It was unshareable, he later explained. The constant thoughts of corpses and entrails titillated Dahmer, but also filled him with revulsion and a growing sense of panic. How could he make these hellish fantasies stop? His solution was alcohol. This was the party-hardy 70s, and lots of kids were getting high, but Dahmer wasn't after a buzz. He was making himself numb. He was now tortured every waking hour by ghastly sexual fantasies, urges that were growing stronger and stronger, urges he could only dull with alcohol. I didn't drink or get high, but even in my naivety, I recognized this wasn't fun-loving partying. This was twisted. As Dahmer continues to drink his alcohol. How did he get away with being stinking drunk during school hours? It still blows my mind. Every kid knew what Dahmer was doing, but not a single teacher or school administrator noticed the thing, not one. Were they really that oblivious? Or was it that they just didn't want to be bothered? High school in the 70s was far different than today's lockdown, zero tolerance institution. There were no security cameras, no strip searches. Kids were smoking weed in the bathrooms and chugging beer in vans in the parking lot. Even the teachers partied. The younger ones were straight out of 60 counterculture. I recall one in particular who once bragged to one of the jocks, "I bet I can roll a joint faster than you." Dahmer kept quiet and didn't mouth off. Maybe he was regarded as just another harmless stoner, to be ignored and shoved along. I can't say there were any signs he was different or strange. One of the school guidance counselors would later state. As the school, as in school, they watched a clip. "Gosh, Joey, you know the harm LSD can do. Most young people will continue through life as ordinary citizens." "You're late, Mr. Dahmer. Again." Others, the shunted and unloved, are candidates for the slave world of lifelong drug addiction. "Ah, watch it, jerk." "Sorry." "Back off, booze hound." "Phew." As Dahmer gets up little by little, he tries to get to his seat. If just one adult had stepped up and said, "Whoa, this kid needs help." Damn. Could Dahmer have been saved? Or his victims spared their grisly fate? I'm not saying that he would have had a normal life, or even a happy one. He probably would have spent the rest of his days doped up on antidepressants and living in his dad's spare room. A sad, lonely life that Dahmer would have gladly accepted over the hellish future that awaited him. But if Dahmer was a tragic figure, and I maintained he was. Whoa! A kid falls down and hurts his elbow. Geez, Ray, are you alright? Dahmer laughs. Shut up, man. He really hurt himself here. As Dahmer continues to laugh. You better see the nurse, Ray. It was just a little incident, quickly brushed off, but I remember Dahmer's cruel laugh that day. There wasn't a trace of empathy. Ray's pain genuinely amused him. What's wrong with you, Dahmer? The winter of 1977 to 78 was one of the harshest on record. As the kids shoveled snow. Oof, look at the size of this snowdrift. Just keep shoveling. Ha, made it to the street first. Beat you again, loser. Hey! Woof! As the snow hits his face. Ah! Grr! Ah, let go! Quit kicking me, twerp! Hey, you two, come in. I've made hot cocoa. More French toast? Is that a yes? Hey, Ma, I need a note to excuse me when we visit the art college. Oh, right, it's this Thursday. Just learned the guy who draws Master of Kung Fu went there. Great. It's a 3-hour drive. We'll have to leave at the crack of dawn to make it on time. Here you go, Marty. Not from the table, please. As he feeds his dog. As the kids start to watch football. You mean the Browns might actually win a game? Don't jinx them, Dad. Cockcroft to kick off. It's short. The vibe at Dahmer's house was quite different. I don't want to hear this again. We just go round and round. That's because you never listen. Listen to the same nonsense? It's all your fault. Rolling left. Oh, don't start with me again. As Dahmer can't take it anymore, he runs out of his house. He couldn't hear his parents arguing anymore. He walked down the street, putting his coat on. He looks down the road and just starts to walk. There, he sees what is roadkill. Jeff's parents didn't know that their battles had such an effect on their oldest son. There was more they didn't know. They believed Jeff had given up his strange roadkill hobby. He hadn't. But Jeff no longer used his clubhouse. He now took his carcasses deep into the neighboring woods, where he would engage in his grisly avocation in secret, far from curious kids. He didn't bother dissolving his roadkill finds anymore. He stripped the flesh off the bones by hand. Dahmer's descent was not just a straight line down. There was brief periods when he rallied. The most remarkable was the school trip to Washington, D.C. It was a week-long excursion to observe the workings of the federal government. During the day, there were tours, lectures, and meet and greets with Ohio's congressional reps and senators. In the evenings, the kids hung out or played cards in the hotel hall. Jeff laid off the sauce. For just one short week, he was a normal kid. Friday was a free day. Jeff, Neil, and Penny set off to do some sightseeing. Let's go to the White House. Maybe Carter will meet up with us. Right. I'm sure we get to see the president. Okay then. How about Mondale? Let's drop in on him. What does the vice president have to do? Oh, let's call him. What? There's a payphone. Let's call his office. What politician would pass up a meeting with star students? There's no way. What do we have to lose? Dahmer got through to Mondale's office, somehow conned his way past the receptionist and got connected with an aide. So, what? We're really gonna do this today? Jeff had an incredible talent for BS, a skill he had honed to perfection in maintaining the lie that was his life. We can have a private tour of Mr. Mondale's office? Great. We're just down the street. We'll be right over. Okay, we're in. Short time later, Jeff Dahmer, future serial killer, stood a few feet away from the Vice President of the United States. When I think of this bizarre event, and about the kid who had the brains, charm, and chutzpah to pull it off, what comes to my mind is, what a waste. Once the trip was over, Dahmer quickly sank back into an alcoholic fog. In fact, as spring arrived and our junior year wound down, he hit the bottle harder and harder. Dahmer stashed booze in several locations outside of the school, so he had easy access to his supply at all times. He slipped away at every opportunity, study hall, lunch period, or a class run by a teacher with a lax attendance policy. He returned to the building unobserved, mingling with the large crowd of students on the smoking patio. Whenever I ran into Dahmer throughout the day, I smelled alcohol on his breath. The school year ended. The summer of 1977 was the last truly carefree one of my youth. I didn't see Dahmer at all that summer. Not around town, not at the mall, not a sign of him. Neighbors, however, frequently spotted him in the woods near his house, beating trees with a large stick. The rest of us found crappy summer jobs. Kent cleaned fish tanks in an aquarium shop. I was a bag boy at a grocery store. In our free time, we hung out and engaged in mindless fun. A favorite gag was making prank phone calls to Stan Berlman, the Dahmer's decorator. Hello, Berman's Interior. Do you sell swipe covers? Why, yes, we do. And drapery? Do you sell drapes? Hey, you've called before. Slam the phone down. There was no laughs at the Dahmer house. The marriage of Lionel and Joyce, after years of conflict, finally reached the inevitable ugly end. Lionel moved out in August and took a room at a nearby motel lodge. The Dahmers then squared off in court, a rancorous divorce Joyce's lawyers recalled as the nastiest of his career. That's his position. I can't believe this. They were both paranoid, the lawyers said. He's getting everything? I, I, I won't accept this, ever. Do you hear me? Physically and financially and otherwise. I am not being irrational. Jeff never talked about his parents' split. It was months before we learned Lionel had left. You have to do something. That's what. At the pivotal moment when Jeff needed them most, his parents were totally consumed with their breakup. Their vicious battle inflicted deep emotional scars on their disturbed son. His world was crumbling, along with his sanity. Here, boy, as Jeff grabbed a hot dog and went out into the woods. Come on, boy. He tried to lure a dog to him. That's a good dog. The dog grabbed the hot dog as Jeff tied him up and took him along. He tied him to a little tree, grabbed his knife, looking at the dog and the dog's puppy eyes. Jeff couldn't do it. Sigh. Oh! Jeff got angry. Go on. Go home. Get. It was the first time Jeff considered butchering not just roadkill or small animals, but a creature large enough to feel fear and pain. It was also the last time he would show mercy. As he just sat there, playing with his skulls, he put them back behind the rock, all the skulls together. Part 3, the Dahmer Fan Club. And this is where we will leave off, my dear friends. Tune in next time to hear more of the story of my friend Dahmer. This has been Ruby, signing off.